Hey, hey, hey. It is Hormone Diaries time. And I thought I would get this done before it gets a bit too late. If you hear some odd sounds in the background, that's just my daughter trying to distract me. Hopefully you guys have had a good day and you're having a good week. Excuse me. We're day 8, Hormone Diaries, and what I've been doing is trying to show up, not every day, but most days, to sort of give you a in real life viewpoint of my current symptoms during my menstrual cycle, given that I'm also perimenopausal, because I'm at that stage of my life. Yes, ladies. Hi, Maisie. And hi, Katie. And it's the law dog. Hello. Because for decades, our menstrual cycles have been like a taboo subject, and women in general, girls and young women, have been kind of made to feel ashamed about something that is a very natural process in our bodies. And there's a lot of people now raising awareness, talking openly, honestly, frankly, about the fact that women have periods, about the fact that our bodies go through changes. And it's really nice to see that there are now prominent sort of celebrity figures, well-known people, putting this topic in particular into the limelight. But still more needs to be done. And particularly for our younger generation. Hi, Johnny. It's even more important because there's so much information out there now and so much influence, because we're a digital age, that almost as a society, I certainly feel like we've gone backwards in a lot of ways, and that there is potential for this kind of topic to be pushed underground, in my humble opinion. So I'm here to help you normalise these things and to get perspective over what you might be going through as a young woman or a woman my age, because it's all relevant, right? And I want you, if you're watching this and you are female, to know that you're not alone. And actually, the guys that are watching, I'm glad you're watching, because as men, I know, Johnny, you're about my age. Law Dog, you're about, well, you're definitely not my age. You're definitely a lot younger. Understanding your female partners or your female children in terms of their menstrual health is really empowering for you as dads or male relatives, because a lot of the time these conversations are left to the female of the house to have with their daughters. And sometimes that is a particularly hard conversation to have, because that woman may not have the information. They may have gone through life like me with zero information. And it's only now, over the last several years, after I've had my daughter, who's coming up 8, that I've actually taken charge of that knowledge, and I'm putting myself into having control over what I know, when I know it, so that I can feel empowered as a woman. And it's not just about understanding when your female partner might be actually on her period, but it's about understanding what goes through, what happens in the body during that particular phase, and understanding that it isn't just one phase. There's 4 phases to that cycle, and it happens every single month. And as we age, the symptoms and how they show up will often change as well, and can seem quite erratic. And rather than minimize those feelings, those symptoms, it's really helpful to be supportive of those symptoms by, at the very first step, understanding what they are or being aware of them, right? Awareness is everything. Okay. So I I've been struggling with my my symptoms for the last, I would say they've been more prominent over the last few weeks, which is what prompted me to come on and start these Hormone Diaries. It was very, very impromptu, but I just thought it would help me to talk about what I'm going through, and hopefully by me talking about it, it'll help other people. So that's my intention. And really, if that helps, if this helps one person, then I'm really glad. So the way that my Hormone Diary lives have been running is that I tell you what day of the Hormone Diaries we're on. Today it's day 8, I think. That's why I put a question mark in the title. What day of my personal cycle I'm on. What happens during that phase of the cycle, generally speaking, because everybody's cycle is completely unique and will be affected by a myriad of different things. How my personal symptoms are showing up, because what is showing up for me may not be what's showing up for a 16-year-old, okay, who's just started their menstrual journey a few years back, right? I've been on this menstrual journey since I was about 12, maybe 11. And so my body has gone through several changes, including changes related to childbirth. And now my body's in the process of moving towards menopause, when my periods will eventually stop, right? So there's a lot going on. And I've noticed that my certain symptoms have felt quite elevated. And because I'm aware of it, because I'm aware of what I'm looking for, and I track my cycle using an app, I know that the way I'm feeling at the moment, it is a bit off from the norm, right? So whether you are just starting your period or have had several cycles already, or you're a seasoned pro like me, this will be a relevant conversation for you, for sure. Right. The other thing to understand is that, like with the guys that are watching, this will be helpful for the reasons I've outlined. If I know for a fact there's two ends of the age spectrum watching female wise as well. So I've got Maisie, who is year 7, I think, and Katie, who's a bit younger than me. Well, a little bit younger than me, actually. A little bit more younger than me than I'd care to admit. But so they're polar opposite. But if you imagine the younger girl and then the older lady, so that could be her mum, right? So this one here is going through the menstrual cycle very, very young. And then you've got her mum, who's struggling with these perimenopausal symptoms. And the two are colliding. Hello. Right. Out you go. The two are colliding. And this is what... Yella, out. This is what often causes conflict in the house, because of the physiological changes, right? If you just look at that as one reason why teenage girls and their mums come into conflict, is because of the hormones, and because both of them probably don't understand what on earth is going on in their respective situations, and it's all too much, okay? So rather than trying to understand each other and make sense of it, because let's face it, women of my age have not had this information, so it's really hard then to help your daughters understand it and be at peace with it and feel empowered by the fact that we actually have cycles, which is an incredible thing, because it makes our bodies ready for childbirth. Yeah, like, I'm on the live. You can tell me later. So, yeah. So this is another struggle I have of trying to do work from home. She said, "Can you do it in the lounge?" Yes, but you've got to keep out of the live, and she's deliberately not keeping out of the live, which means that that thing that you've got in your hand will be confiscated, and now the whole world knows. So,
it's this, by the way.
Yella, I will lose my train of thought. So the other thing to remind you is that I'm also ADHD, undiagnosed, but I have ADHD. And so all of this different hormonal change will affect me differently to someone who is neurotypical, someone who does not have ADHD. And so by me bringing that also into the conversation will hopefully again add another kind of interesting layer to it. So I tell you about what day of my cycle I'm in, what phase I'm in, what the symptoms would usually show up like, what they're showing up like for me during my age and stage of life. I'm also into astrology and the moon's cycle because it's all intertwined, right? I definitely am affected by the moon's energy. Again, more so because I'm aware of it. I don't just think, oh God, I've got the right ump today. I don't know why. I now have the tools to go, right, okay, what's happening around me? What's happening internally? Okay, this is probably what's happening. And then I'll end up letting you know the phase of the moon. Sorry, see, I'm feeling really distracted now because she's interrupted me. And then I'll end on how to support yourself during this phase, okay? So if any of this has resonated with any of you already who have been watching, I'm going to assume you're still watching. Please let me know if any of this is new information, if you know about it, if you are currently trying to support someone, or just that you're watching. I'd love to know. So I'm currently day 18, and if you've watched the last couple of lives that I've done, I have felt really meh, like really, really down in the dumps, but in a really kind of dull way. It was like a really dull weight, and I couldn't really work out what it was. And then when I was putting a post together to put on social media, I came across the term ovulatory fatigue. Now, day 18 is in the ovulation phase, where this is typically the phase where the eggs are released. This is in simple terms. The eggs are released from the ovaries and they start traveling down the fallopian tubes, ready to, if they meet a sperm on the way, they are going to create a baby in the womb, right? Ew. Now, they have once that egg is formed, it has between 12 and 24 hours to be fertilized. And if it doesn't, it dissolves. Okay, it just dissolves. And anything that is not fertilized is obviously what is broken down and released during our period. So I'm at day 18, so give it another 10 days or so, maybe less, it depends, because I'm very irregular at the moment, and I will actually have my period. I will come on and have my bleed. Ovulation fatigue is not something I'd heard about until literally 2 days ago. It wasn't a thing that I even knew about. What I knew was that during ovulation, that is when a woman is supposed to be her most vibrant, communication is good, your skin's more healthy looking, it's plumper, you feel and look more radiant, you are more sociable, because that's when you're most fertile. What I didn't know was that also within the ovulation phase, which again, news to me, is from about day 12 to about day 20, but the egg releasing phase lasts about 4 days, between about day 14 and 18. And during that phase, that's when you're likely to get ovulatory fatigue. And what it's been showing up for me like, is almost like when I'm due to come on, right? So it's almost like a secondary period phase, which sucks, because that's bad enough, right? Then you bleed, then you have a tiny bit of recovery, and then the whole cycle goes back around. So I read something that described it in a really relatable way. So in ovulation, your estrogen rises. So imagine being on a roller coaster, right? And you know that steady climb. and it's a bit scary. Like, you're excited, then you get a little bit scared, but like as the momentum builds, the excitement builds, right, and you kind of feel badass for being on that massive roller coaster. Then progesterone takes over, that hormone, and boof, you're coming down. You're literally on a come down, right? So that is the period when hi Alicia, that is the stage, when you go from feeling really vibrant and zhuzhy and badass to, oh god, now I feel really awful, really tired, really exhausted, I might feel sick, I might be really, really bloated. And that is what's been showing up for me, right? So my symptoms over the last, I would say probably 5 days, have been really bad bloating around my tummy, feelings of melancholy, like what's all this about, you know, what is life, what am I doing, why am I a failure, you know, all of this stuff, right? And I'm thinking it, and also at the same time so aware of myself that I'm like, that's not true. Why is it even running through your mind?
Just filling my arm.
Hi Gracie, thanks for joining. Oh, Tiana, hello love. Please don't distract me.
I'm selling something.
Distracted. Where was I going with? I've literally lost my train of thought. So there's going to be a confiscation of something in a minute. Yeah, so this fatigue, right? So I discovered that there is a thing called ovulatory fatigue, and if you don't know about it, look it up. I did promise that I would put a post up about it, so I will. So you've got it there to read. But thankfully today I'm actually starting to feel like I'm coming out of the cloud of the heavy funk that I've been in for the last few days, and it's starting to feel better. I'm not going to say I feel 100%, but yesterday I was able to get to the gym, and it's the first time in about 2 weeks that I've been able to go. And whilst I really didn't feel like it, I went and I loved it, and I had a really good session, and I feel that what that's done is it's moved some of the negative energy that was kind of sitting in me. It's moved that, shifted it a bit, alongside of the fact that I'm progressing through my cycle, and I'm starting to feel a little less heavy and a little less weighed down by life, right? So I know roughly what happens during my cycle because I track it. So I reckon over the next couple of days, I'll start to come further out of this funk and start to feel a little bit more alive. But I'm also very aware that the same thing will happen. So like a roller coaster, instead of like a great big rise and then fall, I'm going to be doing, I'm just coming out of the dip. I'll probably go up a little dip and then I'll come back down. So it won't be such a big up and down. It will be a gentler roll. It will be a gentler roll for me, heading towards my period. Okay. So the ovulatory phase then moves into the luteal phase. I won't go into that now. But the best way to support ourselves when we're day 18 at this phase is, if you are tired, if you are bloated, be kind to yourself. Like, don't try and squeeze yourself into clothes that are too tight, that are uncomfortable, that make you feel crap about yourself. Put the joggers on, you know, wear loose clothes. Don't beat yourself up. You are not fat. Your body is just bloated because of what's going on inside hormonally, right? And when we talk about hormones, I need to clear this up. All humans have hundreds of thousands of different hormones racing around them all the time. They are responsible for all our bodily functions, right? They are responsible for communicating messages between our gut and our brain and the rest of our body. So hormones aren't just specific to women. They're in everybody. I'm talking about the specific hormones that are related to a female's physiology and reproductive health. Okay, so be kind to yourself. That's number one. Give yourself what you need. If you need rest, have rest. If you need to go to bed earlier, go to bed earlier. Don't spend so much time on your screens. If you can't go to the gym or whatever, go out for a walk. Yeah? Go for a walk with a friend, maybe have a conversation. Or if you feel a little bit more introvert, walk by yourself. Do some stretches at home. Get YouTube and put a yoga video on, whatever. Or it might just be that you want to just put your favorite tunes on, uplifting tunes, and have a little dance around in your living room to your own pace, right? Whatever works for you. Have a nice bath with some Epsom salts or detox salts to help reduce that sort of bloatedness. And also just water is really nice therapy anyway. If you can go for a swim, go for a swim. But look after yourself, because these bits of time during our menstrual cycle, we are so conditioned to keep pushing through. That's why I've got a problem with the always advert, where I get the intention. They're trying to say your period shouldn't stop you doing what you love doing, and no, it shouldn't. But also, we shouldn't be conditioned to think that we should just carry on, because sometimes we don't want to. We don't want to go ice skating. We don't want to go horse riding. Sometimes we don't even want to get out of our pajamas, right? Not like putting on an always sanitary towel is not going to make me want to go ice skating if I'm feeling bloated and sad and tired. No. And why should I push myself to do that if what my body is actually telling me is that I need rest? Okay, so listen to yourselves. So, the other thing I was going to say was where we are with the moon phase. So we recently had a new moon, which is where the moon loses its light. So when you look into the sky, it's like a shadowy moon. There's not much light. And it's now starting to fill with light until it's done its own cycle and it gets to a full moon where it's a big ball of light in the sky. Currently, we're in a crescent moon, and in terms of the astrological aspects, if you're interested, the moon is currently transiting Virgo, which is what we know as one of the star signs. And so what that is all about is really trying to kind of be true to yourself. So like what I was saying just now, if you're feeling tired, like related back to your menstrual cycle, if you're feeling tired, rest. If you're feeling bloated, wear loose clothes. Don't apologise to anyone for how you're feeling, unless obviously you're being a horrible nag, and then of course you apologise. But you shouldn't feel like you've got to put on a show or do something that you don't want to do just because it's expected of you, is what I'm saying. And then we're also, this week is all about Venus energy, which is a lot to do with this is a lot to do with so up to the new moon, it was all about getting rid of all the things, all the people, all the energy that doesn't serve you anymore, like really getting rid of it, and like clutter and stuff like that. Venus energy is more a feminine energy, but not in the gender sense. But it is really trying to make you think about what is really true for you. Like, what are your beliefs? What are your values? And live a life based on those, right? Because those will form your identity, and they shouldn't. If you're true to your core beliefs and your values, and as long as you know that they're yours, not ones that have been given to you by other people, you can't go far wrong, right? You will not stray from the path, as they say. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope that's been really helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this live in particular, and any of the other lives that you've watched. Like I said, I will put a post on certainly about ovulation, and I will probably put I've already created the post about ovulation, but in the actual the bit where you type, my brain's gone, I will actually put a little paragraph about ovulation fatigue so that you've got that as well. And I will basically tune in when I feel called to tune in. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be the next day, but I will definitely come back on, and I'm hoping to do this for the rest of July. So have a good evening, look after yourselves, start cluing yourself up about your cycles. Girls, the first thing you can do is start tracking them. You've all got phones, download an app. There are loads out there. I use Clue, CLUE, but there's loads more. Find one that suits you, because it doesn't just track when you bleed, it tracks how you're feeling, if you're bloated, if you know what your skin's like, what your hair's like, all of that stuff, and then it will give you patterns, so that it will then send you predictions. So it will go, so the more input you give it, the more it can like send you notifications. You've got a prediction for feeling bloated on this day. So that's also quite helpful, because you know we're not always looking at a calendar. We're living our life, and we might not recognise the symptoms until they are smack bang in our face, making us feel awful. So enjoy. Love you and leave you. It's Thursday. You've got one more day to go, and then it's the weekend. And for everyone at school, you've not got long before you break up for the summer holidays. So it's ticking down, my friends. It's ticking down. Sending loads of love to you, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.